The state that's been dealing with this matter, with the investigation as well as the prosecution thus far.
Fundameva says they're hopeful that at the end of the day, the magistrate is able to make an informed decision which is in the interests of justice. Bernadette Wicks, Eyewitness News.
And the N3 toll concession has warned motorists to prepare for busy traffic conditions along the arterial routes from tomorrow. With schools closed and the Rugby World Cup public holiday on Friday, holidaymakers are expected to flock to various parts of the country this long weekend. The N3 toll concession's Tanya Dukra says given the high traffic volumes, drivers can expect some pressure on the roads this festive season.
Drivers should expect a mix of vehicle types on the route. With an increase in public transport vehicles, traffic is expected to begin to increase from Thursday afternoon, with many vehicles travelling in a southbound direction towards KwaZulu-Natal. But road users should also expect busy traffic conditions in both directions over the coming weekend.
A partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated showers and thunder showers. Joburg dropping to an overnight low of 13 degrees, peaking at 27. Pretoria 14 and 30, Vereeniging 13 and 29. Lerato Huffela, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
#MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Since now this board, can't do their work, so what will happen now? Who's going to oversee what is happening in boxing? Because boxing, we cannot run away from the fact that, Rob, that boxing is in trouble in South Africa.
Has the minister broken the law in any way?
Look, I'm not a legal mind, so I don't know. But I'm definitely in favour of Mr. Zizi Kodwa keeping and sticking to his guns.
Can we safely say, or can you safely say to the listeners that boxing South Africa is being kept by certain people and there's mismanagement of funds?
Yes, and my answer to that listener is absolute yes.
Rob, I think we are very fortunate as a country to have Minister Zizi Kodwa at the helm.
Twitter says there's legal battle between the National Professional Boxing Promoters as well as the Department of Sport about the appointment of this new board will derail boxing further down to its knees.
Is that we've got to put fighters first. It's about them. Sorry, Joyce, not sponsorship.
But how do boxers fight if I don't have a sponsor?
It's okay. Well, let's have a fight off air. Let's have a fight off air.
Multi-award-winning musician Zahara has passed away. The Loliwe hitmaker reportedly died at a private Johannesburg hospital on Monday night. She was admitted in hospital with liver complications 2 weeks ago.
But the thing that you do not understand, all of you in this world, when you are gifted, you are given a gift. If I was given a gift by God, if anything happens, I take it back to the giver. So he takes care of me. Take it back to him. You can strip me naked. You can do whatever, but you can never take the gift that God has given me.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW. Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
Streaming live on the YouTube channel, and I can tell you that also we're going to be taking your WhatsApp voice notes, and plenty of them will be coming through because of the caliber and nature of my guest tonight. 060-708-0484, 060-708-0484. That's the WhatsApp voice note number. Send those messages. Any question or comments, make it nice and early because, we're going to fly through this. I almost called it like a thank you. Thank you for the blessings you've given us. Thank you for so much that you've given us as a country. And also, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, feel free to watch, comment, and listen at the same time. I mean, the word legend, we can argue and debate about it a couple of times, but I don't think we need an argument or a debate when it comes to my guest. although the word has been so often misused, very, very carelessly. But I tell you what, this is the most fitting word to describe the legendary guest. An absolute legend of the game. She's earned her legendary status in more ways than one. And after a record of 185 appearances, I think she's about to fall over her chair as well, just trying to digest that for the South African women's national team, and has now retired from football. What a journey it's been. What a thrill it's been for us to watch her give herself to the nation with nothing but commitment, nothing but compassion, nothing but patriotism. I think cap in and cap out, she's truly served you, South Africa. She served me as a South African, everybody, and anything that stands for South Africa. Played a final game, though, the other day, 2-0 win over Burkina Faso, stepping away as the most capped player in African football history. So don't get this mixed up. Some people say, yeah, most capped woman. No. Most capped football player, both in the men's game and in the women's game. 185 caps, surpassing the previous record held by the Egyptian legend himself, Ahmed Hassan, who had 184 international appearances. Now, what's next for Janine Van Wyk? Plenty, I would imagine. She's here, though, to let us in on all those particular plans, reflect on the journey that's been, and a whole lot more. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, Janine Van Wyk is in the house. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rob. Good evening. Thank you for having me. And what an intro. Thank you so much.
I could go on, man. I could go on, just simply because of, the body of work that you've put out there. Must be the most difficult thing, despite maybe questions for the past, 3 years, people saying, are you retiring? Have you retired? When do you think you're going to retire? And then you finally call time. I mean, how difficult was it?
Yeah, I wanted to retire in my time, no one else's time. And I felt it was the right moment for me to do that, especially on such a high note of becoming the Africa's most highest cap player. And I didn't know about this record that could possibly be broken until, last year.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to pursue and keep myself fit and strong in order to break that record, because I feel like that has just been a cherry on top of the cake for my career. It's been such a fulfillment of a career. I think after lifting the AFCON trophy, I thought that was it. Until I thought there's one more to go. And that was the record. So finally I've done that, and ending my career on such a high note has been absolutely amazing for me and an incredible journey.
But when you saw that it wasn't going to happen, during the World Cup, did you think it was never going to happen? Do you think that, okay, now the cycle of the new players will begin, whether it's for WAFCON or whether it is for the World Cup again, and Janine will never get there?
Of course, there were some doubts. I mean, there's always doubts when things don't go your way as an athlete, and you always sit and wonder, like, will I not? But I have to say, thanks to Safa, they obviously grinded it out for me to, speak and have communications with the coach to say, hey, we need to give Janine this, not only for herself, but also for female footballers in the country, on the continent, for the next generation coming up, to inspire the next generation as well, which I fully agree with. But also having been in the team and representing my country for many years, 18 years, it's deserving to have Janine get those 2 caps, and I have to thank them for actually supporting me in that. And I'm truly thankful that they have, and I'm thankful to the coach.
In the moment, and they try to play it out so well, whether it's number 5 minutes, whatever it was going to turn out to be, though. For me, it was about the effort that's put in. And seldom do you find that in SA football. I just find people are not respected. People spend 10 years plus playing for one team. They don't even get a testimonial game. They can play 15 years for one team. They don't even get a testimonial game whatsoever. So for them to try and structure it in a way that in the international world of football does things, it touched me, because I said, okay, if Janine can be that catalyst that forms that change, so that even going forward, whoever then follows you gets a treatment like that, that was special. I didn't even know if you picked that up, because seldom does it happen in SA.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't happen, and I'm truly grateful that the time was used for me to be celebrated. And even if it was 5 minutes for jersey number 5, Coach Desiree and I discussed it the day before, and I was just like, you know what, it's okay, because we had to put the team first. At the end of the day, it was an important qualifier as well for Banyana to qualify for the WAFCON once again as defending champions, and we needed to get a great result. So obviously coach would put on the best starting 11, and for me to come in for 5 minutes was, I was thankful for that, for everyone else to come on and do the job for the team.
And just the fact that, I know I emphasized it, but I'll re-emphasize it now, that it's not just a record for the women's game. It's a record of all of football. Ahmed Hassan, a big name. That record has stood at Janine for 11 years.
Yeah.
That's no mean feat. And you come through and you eclipse that. There's a time you equal it, and they say, okay, well, she get that one more opportunity to then break it so that you stand on your own, put it through to other people. That big name, that Egyptian giant of a football player, to be eclipsed in 2023 by yourself says what?
It just, it pays off everything that you've worked so hard for in your career, all the sacrifices that you made, many times of failure where you felt you couldn't carry on anymore. There are times where you actually want to give up and you don't want to do that anymore. You don't want to wake up early. You don't want to go to training. All those times of hardships really came to this moment of, you were resilient enough, or I was resilient enough to actually push through and get to achieve such a major milestone in my career. So, yeah, dreams do come true. And, if you just continue to work hard to what you want, then you'll end up being rewarded if you stick it through.
What about family? What about people that thought in the beginning that you're crazy, that you're wasting your time? This is not it. This is not what you should be doing. Or was it the opposite?
Well, with my family, it was the opposite. Yeah. My family supported me 100%. They stood by me, whatever decision I wanted to make. There are many times that I wanted to throw in the towel and say, I couldn't anymore, I can't anymore. They were the ones that pushed me through, picked me up when I was down. So without them, I don't think I would have had such a fulfilled career and gotten so far in my career, because it was challenging from the age of 6 years old when I started playing the game. It was challenging with the boys, and then finding a women's team, and then continuing playing football and being consistent in playing it. And they've been my pillar of strength, and I'm truly thankful that they were there at the stadium as well to celebrate that day with me.
I want to pick up on something you've just said, that in times and in moments where you wanted to give up, what specific time and period was it that you felt that weight, that, okay, maybe this is bigger than I am, maybe this is where I call it quits? At what stage was that?
There were many different stages. It was like my journey was like a roller coaster for me, because in the beginning, when I first joined the national team, it was, it was very difficult to sustain myself financially. We didn't get paid back then. And that's why I say the opportunities that women have today, female footballers have today, is amazing. And what they're able to make out of their careers today is fantastic. It's something that we didn't have when we started playing. So financially, I really doubted myself whether I should continue or whether I should find myself a full-time job. But again, I had my family around me to be able to take care of me, to put a roof over my head. And, there's a lot of players that don't have that supporting structure. But that was given to me, and I was able to pursue what I wanted within football, So that was a moment where I felt like I couldn't anymore. Like, I need to find myself a job. I didn't get a matric because of football. I still don't have a matric because of football. I made those sacrifices of traveling the world with the national teams and, missing out on so many exams, and I just call it quits. So yeah, that was one moment. And then you obviously have your normal, ups and down moments within the national team. Towards the end of your career, you get told that you're old, people telling you that you need to retire early. When you have one bad game, it's almost like everything else good that you've done for the game, it just gets zoomed into that one bad performance. And, mentally it kills you because people don't understand how one negative comment can really dampen everything that you've achieved. You don't even think about how far you have come. You just think about that moment. And it, for me, mentally, it was just like, how much can I take of this? And yeah, those are the moments that.
But Janine, is it people that are in the team? Is it people within a technical team? Is it teammates? Who are the people that within that circle, that immediate professional circle, are trying to encourage you to do what you don't want to do, which is to retire?
I would say that it's a balance of many. I wouldn't say any of my teammates or so on, because we're all in the same boat. We're all going to get there at some point where, you're not going to be the player that you once were, but it's how you take care of yourself, how you perform differently. You look at Ronaldo, he's 40 years old. He's not the player he used to be when he was at Man United, Real Madrid, but he still is a fantastic athlete in his own way. He scores goals. People are already talking about him retiring because of his age. So people have this stigma that when you reach a certain age, the age of 30, especially for women, it's time to retire. It's time to give back. It's time to let the next generation come through. But that is when you actually reach your peak, because at age 25, 26, you are still learning and trying to understand the game. When you reach 30, that is when you can make use of all the experience that you've had throughout the years. So yes, there's some people within the technical team that would sit you down and say, we need to manage your body properly. We need to manage, you can't be doing this exercise, you need to be doing this exercise. And it kills you as a player because you want to still compete with even the youngest player there.
Yeah.
But because you get told these things, you automatically think like you have one bad training, one bad performance at a game, and you think, okay, they're actually right. I should be thinking about retirements. I should be thinking about not doing too many exercises. I should be thinking, then you start hiding injuries because you don't want people to say, you know what, your time is up.
We told you.
We told you so. So it's very difficult, but I think I'm not the only one that's gone through that. I think many athletes abroad, current players that are still playing, are currently going through that. So mentally, it's very, very challenging.
You didn't think of an option of, people try and shift you around and say, okay, if you were playing maybe midfield or up front, we change you into a more defensive so that you have less, work or running to do. Was that ever a consideration, or was it going to be a case of when the time to retire comes through, regardless of even if they put me as a goalkeeper, I will not want to do that?
There was no discussion with me about that. There's no communication, although my very last game I was just put in the CDM role, mainly to, I think it's because as a coach you don't want to just chop and change your centre backs. That's something that you don't do as a coach. So just to slot me in anywhere, and as defensive midfield, I've never played with the national team as a defensive midfielder before, and that was my last two caps. So that's where I played, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it wasn't considered, it wasn't thought about, it wasn't spoken about, and it's something that I really would have tried to take on, because a different role requires different things, but yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
All right, coming up after the break, we continue our conversation as well as looking back at this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful journey that she's had. Janine Van Wyk, my guest tonight, calling time on her career. You said what? 18 years. That is incredible. That is some form of consistency that's never to be bought anywhere. We'll take your comments. We'll take your WhatsApp voice notes. We'll see the comments as well on the YouTube channel. So if you're not logged in, please do that. We'll be back.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947. Monday to Friday from 6 to 7 p.m.
#MSW. 'Tis the season to be jolly. And what better way to spread holiday cheer than at Greenstone Shopping Centre, your one-stop destination for Christmas markets, family fun activities, photos with Santa, and more. Get ready to slay your shopping with over 150 stores and a variety of exciting new stores. Conveniently located on Modderfontein Road, Edenvale, just off the N3 highway. Unwrap the joy with us, where the magic of the season comes to life. Check out greenstoneshoppingscentre.co.za for details.
This summer, Stir Kinnickle brings you the big screen experience of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and Wonka. Book now. Stir Kinnickle. Great moments at their greatest. Stir Kinnickor is an authorized provider of big seat, big sound, big screen entertainment. Step into the extraordinary, experience all the drama, intrigue, comedy and action, enhanced by the smell of popcorn and slushies and topped off with heart-pounding, hair-raising laughs, screams, white knuckles and goosebumps. So, leave real life at the door. Thrills and chills apply.
In today's finance news, e-big days are under threat due to the current global economic climate. December is not looking certain. Big weekends might become smaller and bonuses
To skip
might
this
not
bad
be
news,
bonusing.
just
It
say,
truly
skip
might be
now.
the end of
Skip
e-big
now.
days.
Okay, skipping to the good stuff.
We've all been through a lot this year, Mzansi. Download the MTN app and skip to the good stuff with MTN.
Have you seen our upgraded currency with enhanced security features? Identifying a genuine banknote is easy. Just look, feel, and tilt. Hold the banknote against the light and look for the Big 5 watermark unique to each denomination. Feel the race print on Madiba's portrait and tilt to see the security thread change color. For more, download the SA Reserve Bank Currency app and spend your money with confidence. Our money, our pride. SA Reserve Bank, connecting us.
Your tree won't be the only thing that's lit this festive season. With Payflex, buy gifts that make faces glow and pay for them later. Interest-free. Unlike Santa, there are no hidden clauses. Plus, from 1 to 25 December, we'll be counting down the festive season with exciting daily giveaways. All you have to do is shop, check out using Payflex, and you stand to win. Visit payflex.co.za for more. Shop now, pay later, 0% interest. Go on, make it rain, dear.
Hello, welcome to Harold's Net Forest WhatsApp group. So, I've been getting loads of festive gifting questions. Karen asks, Dear Harold, what do I get my husband's work wife for festive? Shish kebab. Is that even a thing, Kaka? Personalised knee pads come to mind. Or, if you really want to show her who's the boss, how about an online course on keeping boundaries? But probably best not to overthink it, hey? Head to netflorist.co.za. They make it easy to show you care. Festive smoochers.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Yeah, we got Colin Nathan, boxing manager as well as trainer. I'm Joyce Kongwane, TLB boxing promoter. The issue around boxing for me is always touch and go.
As to who sits in the board, for me, it's neither here nor there. But and when there's fights, it disturbs me. It destabilizes the whole boxing. We've been struggling to say we want to bring boxing back. I mean, it was dead.
The National Professional Boxing Promoters Association. So when they take the minister to court, for example, is this the right move?
Look, for me, I wouldn't say it's a correct thing because the arguments that are brought forward, for me, they don't carry weight.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Good evening, Rob, and the listeners of MSW. Rob, personally, I blame our management, we call the State Warriors. Look, the Dubs management has let Draymond, get away with so many things. At one stage, he costed us the title where we would have been world champions, but he was ejected. And also last season, he costed us, by punching Upul, and there was no teamwork after that punch, and then they ended up having to trade, Upul. So Draymond at some point, management, Steve Kerr, and the whole management of the organization, they must account. And Foot Draymond has to be traded, then so be it, because he can't keep on doing this thing because he's costing us games, he's costing us titles.
Yeah, I would fully agree with that. If you're wondering what on earth is he chatting about, if you follow the NBA, the basketball league, the Golden State, they call him the bad boy, Draymond Green. Again, he was ejected after hitting Yusuf Nurkic in the face. They were battling for position in the third quarter during the game against the Phoenix Suns. If you go back, and I think he was alluding to it in the voice note, less than a month since Green was also suspended for 5 games by the NBA for putting Minnesota's Rudy Gobert into that headlock. You look at the footage of that, and it's crazy. That was an altercation just last month. And here he is again, ejected. Whew.
Reverend Rob, you know, the results of our under-15 national team against Cote d'Ivoire yesterday did not come as a surprise to me, because this is one of many Safa projects that is going to fail dismally if things don't change. Rob, I was very excited about this project in the beginning. I spent 2 days in July supporting the Safa under-15 interprovincial tournament in Panorama, where the inaugural under-15 national team was selected. And for me, Rob, you could see from there that there were a lot of favoritisms in terms of selection. But one has to give credit to Safa Gauteng and Safa KZN for coming with formidable teams and tactically astute coaches who finished in the semi-final and final respectively. But the individual awards were particularly used to push certain players to warrant or justify their selection, where one was very concerned with the goalkeeper of the tournament, who their team finished in the quarterfinals. The boy made the squad, overlooking Safa KZN goalkeeper, who for me could have easily been the goalkeeper of the tournament, looking at the brilliant saves that he made. And for me, something has to change, and it has to happen very soon.
Debocho, thank you so much indeed. I cannot disagree with your sentiments at all. Something has to give, something has to happen, and it has to happen very, very soon. I mean, we were just chatting off air about some of the younger players with Janine Van Wyk, my guest tonight. And, you know, sometimes people walk around with an air of entitlement, and that's part of what we need to get rid of in our game. And if there are going to be competitive tournaments that are staged by the South African Football Association, then let them be competitive enough to showcase not only the depth and how good the players are, but also how the coaches are. Because as they set the standards now, Safa, in terms of who can sit on the bench, you know, within the Premier Soccer League games, we also need to set a standard for the lower divisions, the lower age groups, the women's game. You know, how do we better the Hollywood Bets Super League, for example? So if at under 15, those results are disappointing, then can you imagine the repercussions of that at a higher age group?
Evening, Brarop, and evening to Janine Van Wyk. Firstly, congratulations to Janine on being the most capped player. I mean, LeBron James said it past few days that a record can be broken, but nobody can take the fact that you are the first to achieve it. And my question to her is that, is she moving completely away from the South African football in Banyana Banyana, or she has a desire to be the Banyana Banyana coach one day? Thank you, Bararop.
Desire to be what? A Banyana Banyana coach one day. Janine Van Wyk, my guest. Retirement from football, international and otherwise, I would imagine, is the message that's coming forward. But that last part of that voice note, any desire to be a Banyana coach one day?
Well, look, my desire is to become a coach. One day I have attained my CAF B and my UEFA B licenses, and I will continue to educate myself around getting my other higher badges. And I think as a player and one that is so passionate about the game, I would love to remain, you know, in the game, whether it's, you know, on the side of the pitch or so on, but I'd like to be involved with football. And if that is to coach Banyana Banyana in the future, I wouldn't say now. Definitely not. I don't think I'm ready yet. I don't think I'm ready for a head coach role yet at all, because a lot of people make that mistake thinking, you know, you're a professional football player, been in the game for so many years, and you can transition into a coaching role immediately. And I think for me, it takes time. I think just as you learn to play the game, you need to learn how to educate and coach and get a different understanding of the game as well. You need to learn how to manage so many different personalities and not just care about yourself and your own performance. So I think it will take some time, and I think I have some great people around me that I will be mentored by, Vera Powell being one, and the current coach at JVW, Mitch Stevens, that I will learn a lot from, and then transition into a more higher role in coaching.
I think you took the words out of my mouth when you mentioned Vera Powell. I was going to say that, you know, coaches like Desraelis have had to have that, whether you call it internship, but time spent with somebody like a Vera Powell. They would have spent time with Mr. Mkonza before then, just getting to understand and know the role of coaching. And look at her. You were in Morocco. You saw her ascending to the stage for the 4th time.
Yeah.
The best coach on the African continent is a South African coach by the name of Desiree Ellis. And we can't just look past that. That says something. And whoever comes in after Desiree has got to match or better those standards.
Definitely. I mean, when you look at Coach Desiree's career, I think she started with Cape Town Spurs as a coach, her own football club. She came in when Vera introduced her as her assistant coach, and she learned a lot in the space of 2-3 years. I believe she learned a lot under Vera, working with her, every single minute. Where if I learned so much as a player from Vera Pauw, I think Desiree had, so many minutes and hours with Vera, and who knows what she learned. But we can tell what she learned because she is now the African best coach. So, yeah, I think it's important that you have a mentor and someone that can guide you, and also just create your own identity of what kind of coach you want to be. I'm not saying that I will learn from Vera and become, the exact same person or coach as she was, but just gaining some experience of how to conduct yourself as an individual, as a coach, how to get the best out of the teams that you are coaching and working with.
All right, Janine Van Wyk, my guest, and people that are watching on the YouTube channel, I can tell you that Umhlangabezi Chezi says that thank you very much for bringing JVW in studio, wishing her good health and everything of the best. Chili's. The best chilies here. I don't know how many nicknames they've given you. Andrew Mishoki says that, Janine, your name will be forever engraved in the annals of RSA football history. You changed so many lives, though, in the ladies' football. There's more to come, though, from you post-retirement. All the best. And Wilson William Zimba says, thank you very much for bringing Jay into the studio. So lots of positive responses that are coming through. As I said, you can log on to the YouTube channel. That is where we are live, and you can watch her beaming face because, sad to be saying goodbye, but at the same time, I think excited for the journey ahead.
Good evening, Rob and Janine. All what I can say is well done, sister. You've done a great job, and you can still be an asset to the young ones to give those perfect advice. All the best on a new venture. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, just that grooming. Thank you so much for that voice note of the young ones. And it's been so refreshing. I know the other day they had the Hollywood Beds Awards, the Super League Awards, and just the growth of the women's game, the number of personnel that are there, those are vying or not vying for the awards, but just the league itself. You go back a couple of years, Janine, none of this was here. Did you ever dream that we would be in a position where they just options in terms of the women's game?
Yeah, today there's so much more opportunity and recognition given to women's football, and it's growing every single day. It's just growing to become bigger and bigger and bigger, which is amazing to see. It's amazing to have witnessed throughout the years the transformation of women's football to where it is now compared to what it was back then. Back then, it was purely playing for the love and passion of the game and competing in a league where it was first Sanlam League in the Alala Cup, if you remember that. And then we transitioned into the Vodacom Cup, and then you had Sassel that came on board a decade and a bit ago and actually laid the foundation for women's football until Hollywood Bets came on and sprung, and, trying to have the game expand a lot more and still trying to professionalize it where actually women can get recognized. It's being broadcasted on TV, not a lot yet, but I think the baby steps are being taken and we are heading in the right way, even if it's as slow compared to the game abroad, where there's still a big gap to be filled compared to what we see abroad and happening there. But we are slowly reaching that, and we just hope that in the near future we will have a fully professionalized league.
The name Asha Kumagisha, you'll know that name very well, right? International sports correspondent who works for Al Jazeera, BBC, CNN, ESPN, Sky Sports, stationed in Kampala, Kigali, Dakar, UK, wherever. Great person, great human being, but extremely well-respected sports broadcaster. Asha Kumagisha says on Twitter, looking forward to this. Janine Van Wyk is a true legend and a trailblazer. I mean, say no more. Your response to that?
Wow. Thank
That's
you.
part of our international
I feel
audience
honored.
that's watching.
I feel honored. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, man. And I mean, there's so many. Charles Chaba says that farewell to the legendary Janine Van Wyk. It deserves all the accolades and recognition. Yeah, I mean, I'll get to so many of these. People asking about the Kaizer Chiefs deal.
No.
Oh, no, I know. Oh, no, you're hoping you wouldn't go there.
Good evening to Marawa. Good evening to you, Janine, as well. It's Simpio X here from Tembisa. Firstly, I would like to say congratulations to you, Janine, for breaking the record of the Egyptian goalkeeper. And again, for you reaching the 185th international cap in both men and women. That's a milestone. Congratulations. I understand from what you said earlier is that it had to take Safa to somehow convince the coach, if I can use that word, for you to get those 2 caps. Was the coach not aware that you just need 2 caps? I mean, after all that you've contributed, why would it even have to go via the doors or the offices of Safa? But anyway, I hope that's a story for another day. Congratulations. All the best to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the voice note. I mean, a lot was said about it. I know there was disappointment in that Olympic game qualifier against Congo when things didn't happen. Talk us through that, because it was like a wave of different emotions.
Yeah, I mean, going into camp, knowing that I would, I retired, I announced my retirement over there, knowing that I would go and get my last 2 caps against Congo, Olympic qualifier. Everything was planned well, and the day before, it was planned that I would go on the last couple of minutes of the game. And the game then happened, and unfortunately Congo came out a lot stronger than what we had expected. And yeah, it was difficult for me to understand why Coach Desiree didn't put me on. Her thoughts afterwards was she lost track of time because of the moments that happened in the game, and by the time that I had warmed up and tried to go on the pitch, the final whistle blew. So in the moment, I was very disappointed, because that is what I came there for, to do, regardless of anything and the situation of what happened. But then you take a step back and you're like, it is for what's best for the team at the end of the day. But you kind of expected, because that was the plan. It was it was set to go on, even if it was for a minute. You would step on and get the cap. And after that, there was no talks about me coming back into camp after this one, because for me there was just no, with the disappointment and the emotions that I went through. At that time, I decided to leave camp, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. And because for me, it was worthless getting the next cap and retiring then. And with distraught and high disappointment, the CEO actually came to see me right after the day we arrived back in South Africa, and we discussed it. And she just mentioned that they would try and get me my 2 caps for against Burkina Faso. And as stubborn as I am at times, because of the high emotions, I didn't want to hear nothing. For me, it was just it was the end of it. But after some time, you just continue, and you then have the talks with the association. And when the time came for me to get called up for Burkina Faso, I accepted the call, and it all played out well the second time.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. Because we wouldn't be sitting here talking about 185 caps, surpassing Ahmed Hassan's record of 184. I am glad you did. I'm glad the stubbornness went out the window in that moment.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Monday to Friday from 6 to 7 p.m.
#MSW. Sanbonani, South Africa. I am Dr. Doctor, and I would like to address the nation. If you have 99 problems, and the craving is definitely one. If the only reason you go to Groove is so you can eat hot wings the morning after. If you've never queued to vote, but always queue for hot wings. And if they call you Einstein, but the craving ingo X ongasolveki, yakhula, then you really need to see a doctor, a real doctor, not that fake doctor. Doctor. So, Call me on 087-537-6040 anytime, anywhere, even now, to help you cure the craving. Together, we can overcome it. Chicken licking, soul food. Terms and conditions apply. Dr. Doctor is not a registered member of the Health Board and is not an alumni of any prestigious institution. Results are not guaranteed.
Take a vacation with Lotto Star's Summer of Millions giveaway. From 1 December to 31 January, you could win a share of 100,000 Rand in cash daily. Bet 100 Rand or more every day to get your hands on a golden ticket. Our Furry Pal Lotto will draw out 5 winning golden tickets every day at 12 p.m. sharp. Visit lottostar.co.za and make this your Summer of Millions.
Lotto Stars, licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Dear Stevie, it's that magical time of the year again, the season of joy and love. And though our past Christmases have been filled with your seasonal specials, it's time for change. I'm taking a break from upgrading us this festive to spend time with the E-Family channels on OpenView. I want the simple pleasures of heartwarming movies, delightful shows and genuine laughter without extra costs. Happy festive, Stevie.
I like to sell it, but want a good price for it. Where can I sell it? I'd like to sell it. I like to sell it. I'd like
Whoa. You want to sell your car?
Yes.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Well, because we'd like to buy it. 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 You want to sell it? We want to buy it. We buy cars. The best way to sell your car by far.
Let there be you.
Whatever you wish for this season, Amazon delivers. With Eddie Murphy's latest festive hit, Candy Cane Lane.
Don't freak out.
Join Michael B. Jordan in the heartwarming true story, A Journal for Jordan.
Real love lasts forever.
Catch Anthony Mackie in gritty action comedy Twisted Metal.
This is gonna be fun.
So whatever you wish for this festive season, it's right here on Prime Video.
I'm enchanted. Let there be love.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Here we got Colin Nathan, boxing manager as well as trainer. Mam Joyce Kongwane, TLB boxing promoter. For now, as far as you know, the board has resumed. Yes. And is that enough in terms of taking boxing now into, hopefully, a new and better chapter?
We need to give them a chance, obviously. Yeah. My biggest concern has always been about fighters. Without 2 fighters in the ring, we don't have a sport, we don't have a business.
It shouldn't be about a handful of people saying we're not happy with this, but it should be everybody in boxing.
Individuals like Kaima Cheke, Patu Dongola, Usbongile Matadimpofu, Secretary of the Eastern Cape Boxing Promoters Association.
Is the sister.
That's the sister.
Correct.
To Matiti. If anybody would have given a positive vote, would have been them.
Is the money in BSA's bank account for this weekend's tournament?
#MSW. #MSW. Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
Good evening, Darob and the legendary Janine Van Wyk. 185 caps. Huge deal. Not many have done that. In fact, you're the first. And I think you wrote a letter saying thank you to the rest of the country and perhaps even the continent. And I think this moment right here is just our moment to say thank you to you, because what you've done was absolutely amazing. The fact that you were only supposed to be on that pitch for 5 minutes and ended up playing longer is a testament of just how talented you are. Congratulations, Janine.
What a passionate voice note, man. Oh, you know when people follow your story and your life, you know, you get the tattoos of this world trying to disguise. But you know what? Those are people that I know love sport. Those are people that I know that have sport ingrained in their DNA. So when you hear a message like that, please respond.
Of course, I would say thank you so much for following my journey like that, and especially knowing that I've played so many minutes when I got told I'm only playing a few more minutes. Only such a few minutes. No one else really knows that, especially the first game where I got told I'll play only 10 minutes and I ended up playing 40 minutes of that game. So Thank you so much. I really appreciate all those people that have followed my journey, all the people that have supported me even through the hardships, and people that sometimes, whatever they say, it could be such a positive comment that it boosts my confidence so much. And these are the people I have to thank.
Good evening, Rob, and to Janine Van Wyk, the legend. She didn't just exceed the bounds of physics and gender, but the mind. Thank you so much for inspiring the next generation of young women who are going to be taking the helm of Banyana Banyana and just women's sports, women football particularly. Thank you. Keep shining, keep rising. And we know that you're going to be doing a lot more outside of the game. And all the best.
Sure, physics and gender. Hey, thank you so much for that voice note. Hey, your response to that?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And I will continue to develop and give back to the next generation coming. Although it won't be easy, the next generations that are coming through, it's I think it will be a very difficult task. But I think, with the status that I carry, hopefully, I will be able to influence a few and get them to where they need to be.
Not a few. There's no way. I think you've influenced already a whole generation of players. I think even players that you play with currently, they might not be able to tell you because of pride. But they'll share that. They'll tell it to us, whether it's on or off air. They will say that. I know it's a humbling statement. But at the same time, know that it's bigger than that. And even the people that surround you, that wear the same jersey as you, share the same change room as you, you've inspired.
Good evening, Rob. Once again, a very prestigious guest in the studio. Congratulations to Miss Janine on a very great career. Looking forward to seeing her contribution to the women's game in the years to come as well. Hopefully also one being to inspire a women's league in our country, because we see the success of Banyana Banyana despite not having a league of their own in the country. So I just definitely love to see her putting on a hat and just galvanizing the growth of the women's game in the country. And as a side note, Rob, I think the one thing that can make Desiree Ellis a much better coach, if she swallows her pride, separates herself from the politics, and always knowing to put all her aces ahead of the politics. Juice from Togoza.
Juice, thank you very, very much indeed. The message loud and clear. But I think in all that he said, saying that, he would love to see you helping others, the next generation. Outside of coaching, what you've told us you would love to do and what you are now qualified to do, would an area of administration interest you?
Look, I think that's not my expertise. I think as a coach, you do need some sort of qualification administratively, which is something that I will take on and educate myself in. But I can't see myself behind a desk in an office working and sitting like this and not be outside, fresh air, kicking a ball about, screaming instructions, helping others. Yeah. That is my passion. That's my love. So that is where I'll be.
As Gavanan says, that smell of that grass, that grass is there's a drug in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying people must go sniff it. I'm just saying that the smell of the grass is what the coach is yearned for all the time. All right, looking at some of the comments that are coming through on the YouTube channel. Indira, who you would know very, very well, says, I'm a product of the JVW Girls Football Development. Janine was the person who handpicked me from a handful of players to start her academy. If it wasn't for her, I don't think I would be where I am today. So for that, thank you, Janine. You've done a lot for the women's game of football. Thank you very much for being my mentor.
Oh, my word. Thank you, Indira. Indira, you could see, I think everyone knows her. She currently works at Hollywood Bets, and she's the driving force for women's football, the league that's currently happening. And she was just a passionate individual when I first spotted her at the JVW Schools League happening. And she was an amazing individual, amazing personality, so passionate about football. There's no way I could have, shied away from her. And what she's doing for the women's game currently is phenomenal. So congratulations on that career that you are, the pathway that you are setting for everyone else in Dera, and just know that I'm very proud of you and who you've become.
She is a force, Indira. Again, very humble.
Yeah.
I see what she's done as far as the women's game is concerned, making sure that you get the rewards. We were talking about the awards over the weekend. I've seen what she's doing and has done for even the beach football side of the beautiful game. So it's all encompassing, and I think it's that kind of leadership, people that have played the game, played it professionally, who then say, where then do I fit in? So she's fitted in, maybe not so much as a coach, but, leading one of the biggest companies here in South Africa, global entity, to say, guys, shore up on this league. Don't just talk about it. Do something, plow in the money, and let us see the difference. And I think that's where she walks right now.
Yeah, and I think with whatever JVW is, it's not just a football club. It's people that try and create different pathways for these young girls coming through. Not everyone will become a professional football player, but there will be some that are talented and, be administratively, like Indira started, some that could be presented, like the Amanda Dlaminis, some that, could be coaches for the younger generation that are fantastic. They may not have been the best football players, but they're well educated and understand the game so well that they can pass it on to the next generation. So all these different pathways is what JVW stand for, not just as a professional footballer, but many more.
Yeah, I'm even looking at Twitter. It'll be wrong. I know you hate this question. Is the Chiefs deal off?
The Chiefs deal has been off since
it almost started.
Since it almost started. And there's been no more negotiations. And JVW is its own entity, it's its own brand, and JVW will remain for as long as it can remain and stand financially and sustain itself. And yeah, it is, like Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates are a brand in the men's game. JVW is a brand in women's football.
But were you sad, though, that it didn't happen? Chelsea, we know Chelsea, there's a women's team. Arsenal's Arsenal, there's a women's team. Liverpool, there's a ladies' team. In South Africa, you just have Royal AM, TS Galaxy, Mamelodi Sundowns, and it's game over.
Yeah, but you know what? There's so many other coaches and teams that have developed their own ways of women's football. They've developed and grinded through the hardships of what women's football is, not being able to financially to sustain it. And yes, we want a professional league. You have Sundowns, you have TS Galaxy, you have Royal AM that are grabbing all these talented players, and these players want to make a career out of playing football. So of course, by all means, these players will go to a club where they're able to, get money and play full time. But what about all these other clubs that are developing players from a young age? They develop them for 10 years. They become these fantastic, uprising, talented players. And then it's just because another club has more money, they can just grab them from that club and they lose everything. And in the women's game, you can't buy. Well, not in the women's game, but in South Africa currently, because we're not a professional setup, you can't buy any players. So the club don't earn any compensation from players that move to other clubs, that transfer to other clubs. So it's very difficult at the moment to balance the two. Of course, we want a professional league, but right now it's all the clubs that are developing players that are losing out to these clubs that are able to buy players.
Big corporates in South Africa will always talk a big game, and I think we saw it even at the Rugby World Cup, and kudos to them, because the Boks do what the Boks do and they deliver, and they always come back and they get into a final, and more times than not, 4 times they come back with a Rugby World Cup trophy. Where I'm angling this is corporate SA have seen what the women can do. They've seen that women can actually get into a knockout stage, the business side of the game at a World Cup, as happened this year. They can see that we can win WAFCON.
Yeah.
They can see that at club level, Sundowns can win the Champions League. What more then, Janine, needs to be done to drive that message home? And kudos again to Hollywood Bets for having the vision. But we need to get to that professionalization, as you say. For you, when you started your journey, it was about the inability to earn enough through the game that saw you having to double up and do other things. But now you want to say to the ladies, focus on this. This is going to be your job. And you've seen what that means in your trips to the US, Scotland, to Denmark, wherever the journey has taken you, even in Greece, you have seen that. If they're listening right now, and I'm sure they are, what would your message to them, given the fact that they haven't come in to fill that gap?
Look, I think corporates can't just come in and ride on the success of a team that is doing well.
Yeah.
You know, when Banyana did well, they went to Olympics, they went to the World Cup, done well, and then come back and everyone wants to be part of that successful story and give back to the girls. But, you know, it is the women's league in the country that is currently suffering. The women that are talented, the girls that are missing out, they can't continue to play football. The talent that is missed out, they can't continue playing football because, like I once was before, I had to make that decision of whether I take the pathway through football and hope that something will come up and I'll make a career out of it, or I have to take care of my family and have a full-time job. And it's very difficult that, you know, the corporates don't come on board and want to back a women's team, a football club, to also help them stabilize and help them get to that next level where the girls need to be. Not only a Mamelodi Sundowns or a Royal AM, they all have the resources, they have the facilities, they have everything. So with the corporates coming into a club that is self-independent, you know, that hire or rent out facilities, or don't have a gym access, don't have those things, they're never going to be able to compete against the rest. So my message to them would be, you know, come and support women's football. Come and back women's football because it's the fastest growing sport at the moment currently globally. And if you don't want to invest your money now, you know, you will lose out in the end.
Any regrets?
No regrets. I don't have regrets. I believe, and I'm a firm believer, that everything happens for a reason. You know, there'll be some failures along the way. There'll be moments where you want to quit and give up. But if you are resilient enough and understand that failure is part of your success story, you know, you will continue to grind out whatever challenges that you face. So I don't have any regrets. I don't regret going abroad. I don't regret staying here. I don't regret making the sacrifices of not having a proper education through football, because that all formed of who I am and the journey that I've endured.
Well, thank you so much, Janine, for all the years of your availability as well. I can't overlook that, because at times you would come back and there would be very damning results for Banyana Banyana. As a captain, you never once shied away from putting your hand up and saying, yeah, I'll be available for that interview. So for that, on behalf of the many fans that have followed you, your accountability has meant the world to all of us. And for that, I thank you. And I wish that the journey ahead for you is as successful as your journey has been on the football field. You've been a leader, a captain, and somebody that's highly lovable throughout the entire country and abroad. And never, ever take that for granted. I salute you. Journey on. And thank you so much for being you.
Thank you, Rob. And thank you to all the listeners. And thank you for everyone who has supported me throughout my journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, Janine Van Wyk.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. The same